Hello and welcome to AfterWyrd, the place where we just cram all the weirdness we can't fit into the regular show. That saying that made me feel uncomfortable. My name's Andy.
My name's Craig, and I have a really bad case of the hiccups. So there's a laugh for everybody. I think I've been cursed.
Yeah, it's that cursed doll behind you.
Yes, she's actually left me a little gift, actually.
A gift, what, like a little doll turd? What do you mean a little gift? I
Wow.
know we've been talking about Annabelle, but has it got in your head?
See if you can see this.
Jeez, is that
Pick
like
that
a
up.
mouse or a what is that?
It's a little vole.
A dead vole? I'm assuming it's dead, not just petrified.
Dead vole
Why?
sat on them.
What the f just did it die on there?
No, apparently my wife thinks I'm weird, so she found it and left it for me as a gift.
Because that's absolutely normie behavior, that is, isn't
That's
it?
when you know it's love.
Oh, just to show that you love her back, go out and kill like six slow worms and drop them in the bed.
Put them in her breakfast cereal.
And then look really surprised when she like sprays water at you and calls you a bad boy.
Kinky.
Oh, yeah, that's after weird. Thanks for listening.
No, come on. Have you got any weird news for us? Actually, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what. Can I go first? Because I've got something I've been kind of keeping an eye out for.
Okay, I do think though what you need to do I think you need to have a hiccup count, like on the corner of the screen for those watching, just like little ticks over every time you hiccup.
Sure. Um,
What we
so,
got?
well, I've been keeping an eye on a news story because it's something we covered. There we go. Earlier this year. Um, got to try and make this sound like a serious piece now with the hiccups. So, I knew when the date of this was going to come back up, and it seems to have taken a bit longer. And then I don't know, no one seems to be talking about it, so we will. So judge approves conditional release plan for woman convicted in Slenderman stabbing.
Oh,
Yes, so I find it interesting as well because everything I can find at the moment refers to Morgan as a woman, as
I
we
was gonna
discussed.
say,
As we
yeah.
discussed, we were told earlier this year they were transitioning, and they were going by male pronouns. But they've also, as far as I understand, have changed their name, which is being kept private. Um, but yeah, the essential thing is that they are due for release this coming Monday on the 4th of August. Shall I just read the article? That's probably the best way of doing
Go
it.
on, then. Yeah, do that.
Well, I was just thinking it'll repeat some of the details, but I mean, if you haven't listened to our Slenderman episode, we obviously went into quite a bit of detail on that and about our own opinions on whether
Yeah.
they should be released and stuff. Yeah, so and again, excuse the genders on here because I'm just going to read the article. Um, a Wisconsin woman will be released from a mental hospital more than a decade after she nearly stabbed a classmate to death to please the horror character Slender Man. A judge decided on Thursday. This was on the 17th, so it is a couple of weeks ago. Scott Wagner signed off on the conditional release plan during a review hearing for Morgan. Just skip a few of the details here because it's now going back to tell us what happened, which we know. I guess if anyone doesn't know and didn't watch the episode, it's the story of the two schoolgirls that stabbed their friend 19 times. But she did survive, although, as we said on the episode, it's often listed as a killing, but it wasn't technically as bad as it was.
Yeah, and blamed it on Slender Man commanding them, well, sort of more wanting to go to Slender Man's mansion.
Yes, and yeah, so Morgan had undiagnosed schizophrenia at the time, which is a detail that does get glossed over a lot. Um, yeah, so this is the wording I was looking for. A judge granted conditional release to a group home.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but then there was an issue earlier this year where she was going to be living too close to the victim, so they've had to reassess, find somewhere else for. I'm getting confused now whether to say him or her because like,
I'm gonna call them him, but
No, that's fair. It's because I'm reading the article, and the
No, no,
article
of
is
course,
saying
yeah,
her and woman, and I can't find reference to that anymore. But if you look back at the older articles, it does specifically say. But I think as well, the court at the time did say they would continue to use female pronouns simply because of court records. So it needs
yeah,
to be consistent in case it ever comes up again.
yeah,
Um, so anyway, yeah, for obvious reasons, the location of the group home is not being released to the public. Um, but they've said it will not be in Milwaukee or Waukesha counties. I mean, that's the gist of it, really. As I say, I think we said on the episode, it's not really our position to decide whether or not they should be released. We just kind of discussed.
yeah. The details behind it that often get left out through, the understandable outrage, but
Yeah, I mean, I watched the court video today, because you can find it. It's on YouTube, and if you look at the comments underneath there, it's just as you'd expect. Mostly people that
yeah,
are ill informed. I did, under the Wyrd Wessex banner, update a few people on
put a
their
few
own
people
American
straight.
laws
Good,
because they were
good,
saying, "Oh, well, if they're fine and they don't need to be in a mental institute anymore, why aren't we sending them to prison?" I'm like, because that's not how the law works.
right?
Not guilty by reason of insanity, and I explained it to them. Like, I'm not even an expert, but come on, it's not that difficult to understand. Whether you
Yeah,
like it or not, that's the law. Um, yeah, and then other people were pointing out, stuff like, oh, it doesn't really matter if they were kids when they did it. And it's like, well, they were tried as adults though, so you've got that wrong.
yeah,
Like the only reason we know their names is because they were tried as adults. If they were tried as children, we wouldn't even know who they were.
exactly. Yeah, there's a lot of that goes around when it comes to people of that age. Sort of everyone's either, oh, leave it out, leave them alone, they're kids, and then with certain people who do certain things, they're like, oh no, kill them all. They do really, really seem to lose sight of the fact that it was a kid. And
I just think, as I said, I mean, not to say I'm happy that Morgan's being released. I'm glad that the change of judge wasn't some kind of loophole for them to keep them locked up
yeah,
because throughout the whole case from the original sentencing to now has always been the same judge and he's just retired. But the new guy seems to have got up to speed. If you watch the video, he kind of updates the room and says, "This is where I think we're at," just so that we know we're all
yeah,
understand. So he does seem to get it and he's allowing it to continue. As I say, rightly or wrongly, maybe not our place to say, but yeah.
wow. Yeah, which one do I follow that with? Blimey.
Well,
Uh,
yeah, I was going to say, like, obviously, hopefully, we never have to mention their names again in the like they don't turn up in the news or anything. But
yeah, but
I think if they're releasing them and they're on the correct meds and stuff, I don't see any reason why they can't, and they're
no,
going to be
exactly.
monitored. So
Yeah.
the Anissa's already out, and personally, I think she was potentially worse, but that's another story.
Yeah, was the movie. Yeah. If anyone's confused by this, go and listen to the episode. Um, so I've got one that is a little bit more extraterrestrial, or I've got one that's a bit more close to home, let's say.
Uh, oh, okay. I mean, extraterrestrial is usually quite light-hearted. Should we go with that?
Oh yeah, well, we'll go for a nice light-hearted one from the NY Post. Rare interstellar object the size of Manhattan could be an alien probe, says Harvard scientists.
Giggity.
The size of Manhattan. Wow.
Giggity. This just got in mind South Park with Eric Carmen. It's an anal probe.
Oh no. You first. It's all right because the next line is in the true NY Post fashion. It's probably nothing.
Oof, that's
The
a
new
low blow.
the newly discovered Manhattan-sized interstellar object zooming through our solar system has been identified as a comet, but two Harvard scientists argue there is a reason to believe it's really an alien probe. NASA discovered 31 Atlas on July the 1st, speeding through the inner solar system at 140,000 miles per hour, according to the observations from the Atlas telescope in Chile. But experts are clueless as to where it originated. Avi Loeb, who we might remember, um,
Abby Loeb? Should I remember Abbey Loeb?
Avi
Well,
Loeb. He's popped up in a few of ours actually.
I'm really bad with names, so you might have to jog my memory on who that is.
Um, is a Israeli and American physicist, but he's done a lot talking about dark forest theory and things like that.
Okay.
Um, so he suggested a new paper that the objects, only the third interstellar object ever detected, could be an intelligently directed alien craft observing Earth with possibly hostile intentions.
Hmm.
The hypothesis in question is that 31 Atlas is a technological artifact and furthermore has active intelligence. If this is the case, then there's two possibilities follow. Uh, Dr. Loeb, Adam Drow, and Adam Hibberd wrote a paper published on July the 17th. First, that its intentions are entirely benign, and second, they are malign, suggesting ETs. The paper presented several anomalous characteristics of the which could indicate that it is not a comet at all, but a directed craft. One of the most puzzling observations is that the object has significant non-gravitational acceleration while having now cometary outgassing. Um, there's a fart joke in there somewhere. He writes that 31 Atlas approaches surprisingly close to Venus, Mars, and Jupiter with a probability of 0.005%. So shouldn't be there, but it is. 31 Atlas low retrograde tilt would seemingly allow it to access our planet with relative impunity. The retrograde
Hmm.
tilt means attempts by humanity to intercept it or even more difficult rendezvous with it are extremely challenging, while the route simultaneously give 31 Atlas easy access to certain key target planets. Loeb further suggests that the Tilton pathway would allow intelligent life on the object to gather astronomical measurements to determine orbits and masses of the solar system planets, allowing it to prepare an optimal approach strategy to the solar system. Another possible smoking gun is that 31 Atlas will come closest to the Sun on October the 29th, on which day the object will completely be blocked from Earth view by the fiery ball. The paper, presented in part as a pedagogic, peda, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Um, Peter Gogil, Ghost. Oh my God, I can't say this word at all. I'm also ill. No hiccups, but I don't need them to not be able to speak properly. Um,
I don't
I
want to talk too soon, but I think my hiccups have stopped.
oh wow, really?
After 24 hours, I think they've stopped.
I'm gonna try this one more time. I think it's uh pedagogical. Pedagogical. It's got two G's. One's a G and one's pronounced like a J. I hate words like that. Um, Essentially, it means a teaching exercise, I think. But so the paper was a teaching exercise, a pedagogical, there we go, experiment, and embraces dark forest hypothesis, yeah, which I mentioned Loeb was quite fond of, which assumes that other
Okay.
intelligent life would be likely viewing Earthlings as a threat to be snuffed out, which is comforting. Um,
Hmm. Okay.
so yeah, you know the dark forest hypothesis, don't you?
I believe we've spoke about it
I think we have, yeah.
before. I mean, if you want to, for our listeners, explain it.
So it's basically a bit of a clapback rebuttal to the Fermi paradox, which is saying it essentially means, sort of where are the aliens? If is alien life out there, why aren't we coming into contact with each other? Why is there no signs, no radio waves, nothing? Um, but to answer that, um, we go to the dark forest theory, or that's one of the ideas, which is that you've got these species. We don't know what's out there, but we know there might be things out there. They're likely to be out there. And if you're a hunter in a dark forest, you're kind of scared of what else is out there. So you don't make too
Hmm.
much noise. And if you think something is over there, you're going to avoid it or you're going to try and get it before it sees you. And the idea is that everyone's tiptoeing about a little bit. Like when civilizations get to a certain point, they tiptoe around a bit because they think, well, we don't want to draw attention to ourselves because if something comes at us, they're probably going to be a lot more technologically advanced than we are. And then when you're aware of something, you might go for it before it gets advanced enough to hit you. So sort of you've got this basically this dark, it's very quite a depressing thing, and it kind of assumes that alien life is all like us in that sense where we've got a habit of destroying things that scare us or we don't
Yeah.
understand.
I think that's a very human concept, and we're assuming that life from other planets has the same traits that we do.
Yeah, but also we've got to think, and that's the problem. You've got to think, why wouldn't they? If they need resources, they need to consume resources, consume land mass, consume energy. Naturally, they are going to have that. You look at what drives our evolution in terms of technology. Nothing upgrades our technology like war. The bigger the war, the more technology comes out of the other end of it.
But then that depends on whether there's any resources here that they need.
So yeah, not the brightest of alien
No,
bit of
but
news, but
well, you might remember earlier this year we did another story. I think I did it. Um, and I reckon this could be connected. I mean, I know you're saying they're basically doing it as a teaching exercise, so they don't necessarily believe
yeah.
that it's hostile. But I'm going to play you a clip and see whether you remember this. Because when you put what you've just told us into context with this, I think it makes for a very interesting bit of weird news.
Like all of them, is that lie is going to be that there is a craft slowly making its way to us here on Earth. And that is the lie they're going to want you to believe.
Damn.
He's saying that the governments are going to try and convince us that something's heading for Earth and they're hostile. But he did say 2027, so this would be
Yeah.
bringing it forward. He also did say, once I tell you what the lie is, that there's a good chance they'll change the date, they'll change the narrative, something might have to change.
Maybe they're speeding it up.
Just saying,
Ooh.
just saying. As soon as you started talking about that, I was like, hang on a minute. This is it's kind of eerie
That is.
how right he sounds now. Because back then we were like a little bit like, oh yeah, maybe, but why would they want to do it? And now you're like, oh wait, the kind of someone is doing it at least.
Yeah. Oof.
I think the
Think,
idea being that maybe we'd want like to unite all the countries in like a new world order style is what the conspiracy theorists would say.
well, things are getting strange. I'm starting to worry.
This looks like a case for Mulder and Scully. No, I
Um,
can see. Sorry.
my voice won't. I'm ill. My voice won't go up that high now. Um, so yeah, all right. Well, that's one to watch. The sky's on.
Yes, yes. I mean, if anyone wants to watch the full clip of Jeremy Corbell, if you just go to YouTube, it's on Unexplained IE. It's Jeremy Corbell's 2027 UFO threat warning, disinformation or disclosure. I think it's a clip from a TV program.
Yeah.
But there is this video is 4 minutes long. I'm pretty sure when we watched it before it was longer than that. They might have cut it down a bit, but you kind of get the idea. So if you've missed our previous chat on it and want to check out the whole clip, I mean, yeah, let us know what you think, Paul,
Yeah,
and
waiting,
anyone else as well. But
but
I know
mostly
Paul
Paul.
might be, Paul will be into
It'd be
this one,
straight
I'm
on the
sure.
blower, I'll tell you.
Yes.
So, what else have you got? Have you got anything else more light-hearted?
Well, I got a story I meant to do last week and we ran out of time. I can't remember why.
I don't know.
Oh, it's
I'd probably
because it's because I got you watching the sperm races instead.
that was it. That was it. Yeah, we we
And
we
we
had
ran out of time.
a day at the sperm races with Andy and Craig.
So I've gone back to one of my current kind of favorite sources, which is the Higgy Pop website. New documentary: The Pentagon's Ghostbusters exposes U.S. officials hunting UFOs and ghosts.
Ooh.
So a new short documentary style film from the New York Post pulls back the curtain on a group of rogue officials inside the US government who have for decades been using taxpayer money to investigate the paranormal, everything from UFOs and ghosts to psychic powers and monsters. The film, titled The Pentagon's Ghostbusters, reveals how a fringe group of true believers have operated in and around the corridors of power, pushing supernatural research under the radar and sometimes into mainstream defense programs. It's a story that veers between the bizarre and the alarming, combining real declassified documents with claims that sound like they've come from a sci-fi script. Some see the group as pioneers who might change the world. Others think they're simply, in the words of one critic, crazy. But that's how it goes.
Whoas. See what we did there.
Millions of people. Sorry,
We had a
did
bit
that
of
one
a
already.
Yeah, I was going to say we had a bit of a rendition of that around the fire.
Might have been after I went to bed.
I might have been, might have been. Hopefully you heard
I'm I'm a good boy. I go to bed at a good time.
it. I do not.
Story begins in the 1970s during the Cold War. The CIA launched the CIA launched Project Stargate, which we've mentioned before. And it goes into a bit of details about what that is and how it ties in with people like Uri Geller. We need to try and get him on the show. Um, but yeah, it says for some of those involved, it wasn't the end, it was the start of something much stranger.
Yeah, Project
Um,
Stargate. That's the one with Kurt Russell, isn't it? Or the series with Richard Dean Anderson, right?
uh,
Don't remember
pass.
Yuri Geller being in it. You should watch Stargate. Anyway,
I remember watching the film when it came out, but I don't think I really did the series much. But
that's good.
that's a long time ago. Um, yeah, so yeah, it's well, actually, it's repeating itself a bit here. Um, yeah, so the story takes a weirder turn with Robert Bigelow, a billionaire with a strong interest in the paranormal, who bought a property in Utah known as Skinwalker Ranch. Have two books on that, guys. That's just a heads up. When I get the time to actually read and write, we will be doing Skinwalker Ranch, um, which is famous for UFOs, shapeshifters, and strange creatures. Documentary details how government contractors and officials working on these projects reported terrifying personal experiences. Jessica Wyatt, a Pentagon official, claimed she saw a Dino-Beaver,
Bad name.
a creature said to be part dinosaur, part beaver, and that paranormal forces followed her home, triggering poltergeist activity and monster owl sightings.
Man, bear, pig.
I'm pretty certain that. Don't think I've got it out here, but I think one of the books I've got on Skinwalker Ranch. Yeah, Skinwalkers at the Pentagon. I have a feeling might go into that a little bit as well.
Just to put it
Um,
out there, if this video gets over 1,000 likes, Craig will get a Dino-Beaver tattoo.
yeah, I'll get Saxon Storyteller can draw it for us.
I think that'd look badass.
New t-shirt coming your way.
When I do the, if I do a cryptid versus cryptid episode, I think we should throw Dino-Beaver in there.
I think you mean when,
When
Andy, not if.
cryptid versus cryptic.
Yes, exactly. Um, it does go on to say none of these incidents are supported by physical evidence, but they were included in official government reports and tracked using charts of paranormal activity. Um, the same group is said to have links to the famous 2004 Tic Tac UFO case, reported by US Navy pilots,
And
and has
Tom
helped
DeLonge.
reignite. Huh?
And Tom DeLonge.
Oh, yeah. Previous guest on the show. Um, yes, which was reported by US Navy pilots and helped reignite government interest in unidentified aerial phenomena, which I also think at the minute is a bit of a distraction from other things going on. I think they're using it as a
Yeah.
look over here, we're not doing anything that's pedophilic.
Yeah. That's it. Files? You mean UFO files, surely?
Yes.
Have some of those.
It says when the New York Times ran a front page story about UFOs in 2017 based on some of the group's work, it led to the creation of an official UFO task force inside the Pentagon. Surprisingly, some of the same paranormal believers were also part of this new effort. Sort of like a fringe group within government, I guess. And the film introduces several individuals whose beliefs go far beyond ghosts and flying saucers. Sarah Gam claims she died, went to heaven, and returned with psychic powers that allowed her to talk to aliens and the dead. Kevin Brown believes a ghost from the Stanley Hotel, which was the inspiration for The Shining, followed him home and now tickles his feet while he sleeps. Then there's David Grush, who made headlines in 2023 for claiming the US government has alien bodies and crash debris. He allegedly tried to expand the UFO recovery program using psychic techniques.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. The group also reportedly took part in an attempt to physically summon UFOs, including a session at the Asylum maybe Institute, where they meditated while wearing goggles to beckon alien craft. Ah, so there you go. This ties in with your story.
There you
It's
go.
all
It's
their
good for them.
fault. They drew
It's
them
kind
in.
of like a really weird shit three body problem, you know?
Yeah. Most shocking of all, there were internal discussions about detonating a nuclear bomb to attract UFOs. Apparently, the plan was dropped due to a lack of merit. That's a
And
quote.
access to nuclear bombs for fringe sort of kind of, yeah, organizations within the government.
By 2023, some officials began to worry that these paranormal projects weren't just fringe science, they were a national security risk. Sean Kirkpatrick, who led the Pentagon's UFO office, described the group as a paranormal religion that had gained too much influence. Meanwhile, reports in the Wall Street Journal revealed that the US government itself had sometimes spread UFO rumors to hide real military tech, further blurring the lines between fact and fantasy and paedophilia. I added that. I added that last bit in
I
case you didn't
guess you
notice.
did.
Anyway, we're not a political podcast.
Not yet.
That's our spin-off show.
Oh, Weird Westminster.
Yes. Yeah, so there you go. That tied in quite nicely with your story, actually, in the
So
end.
it did. So it did. So we're bringing it back to Earth now. Back close, back underneath your bed.
Ooh, my
Experience
bed,
from The Guardian.
specifically
Maybe.
my bed. Okay.
Maybe. I found a stranger under my hotel bed.
That'll be
Great.
me when we stay at the Jamaica Inn.
Yeah, that's you on the road trip. There was an odd smell, definitely. It's be me under your bed. I craned my neck to check, and two dark, wide eyes blinked back at me in the darkness.
Oh, that's creepy.
Speaking about it's a lady called Natalie Kamenko who lives in Thailand, and she was on holiday in Tokyo. She was visiting on holiday from my home in Thailand, heading back to my hotel, my belly full of ramen, and keen to relax after a day of traveling. By 7:30, I was back in my room. I stripped off, put on a sweatshirt, and tidied my things. Then I got into bed and started researching train times. After about 20 minutes, I began to feel uneasy and noticed a strange odor. It smelled like dead animal covered in sugar. That's a really fucking specific. Anyway, I couldn't tell where the
Sorry, a
smell
dead
was.
animal covered in sugar?
Yeah, haven't you ever done that before?
I've smelled dead animals, not covered in
Yeah.
sugar.
I wondered if a rat had got into my room. Maybe some food had been left behind by previous tourists. So I decided to check under the bed, even joking to myself that it better not be someone there. Sprawled on the bed, I craned my neck down to check. Two dark, wide eyes were staring back at me, blinking in the darkness. The intruder climbed out from under the bed, blocking me from running to the door. He was sweating, which I presume was causing the smell. I started screaming, and my brain kept repeating, "This isn't real," over and over. I started to hyperventilate and froze on the spot, unsure whether he was about to jump on me, choke me, or even try and kill me. There was no space for me to run, and my body felt as if it would collapse in fear. If he tried to overpower me, I would lose. I remained rooted to the spot, shouting for help as loudly as I could. He locked eyes with me and also began screaming. I scanned his face, trying to memorize exactly what he looked like. East Asian, between 20 and 30, slightly overweight, a bowl haircut and black clothes. He ran for the door and disappeared down the corridor. So she goes on to say that she called the police. um, well, first of all, she tried to call the hotel concierge, but she wasn't dialing the correct number. Other people in the hotel had heard me and were calling out, asking for my room number so they could get to me. There was frantic knocks on the door. I realised I was only wearing a sweatshirt and clambered across the room trying to change. As I opened the door, two male tourists were standing there checking if I was okay. It was only then I realised I was still screaming. So the police looked under the bed when they came and found a USB cable, and a power bank. I began to think the man had been planning to secretly record me with his charging devices. He could have done so all night. The concierge asked if I wanted to report the incident. I did. You fucking would, wouldn't you? The police took my passport details and email, but said they probably wouldn't find him because of a lack of cameras in the hotel. They'd send me a report. They didn't ask for a description of the man. I was shocked at how casually they treated it. So saying how the questions are like, how did he get in? Did he know that I'd be alone? So she didn't stay there that night.
That's fair.
But yeah,
I would. I'd have noped right out of there.
yeah, and that's it. And just saying she wonders how many people this has happened to.
What kind of seedy hotel doesn't have CCTV?
And also it's just like, do you want to report it? It's like, of course you fucking do. And like just the police, yeah, it's but Jesus Christ, like you would like if someone literally was under there, then climbed out, like what the hell would you do? There are two things I can think of, which is just scream and like fall over, or like just go for him. Just fucking try and hit him with something and leg it. I don't know what I'd do. It would definitely be one or the other.
Would you like a very brief, quick, and kind of funny anecdote about what I would do if I found someone in my room in the middle of the night?
Go on then.
Because it's happened to me.
Really? Go on.
Okay, so we were living in a small maisonette, which is like an L-shaped house. So our living room had a flat above next door, partly over the living room. So it's a weird setup. But anyway, that's irrelevant. So I was in bed, window open, it was summertime, and woke up. And as I say, it was hot. I was stark bollock naked in bed. Just, imagine that one, if you will.
I often do.
I was younger then, slightly slimmer figure. But, anyway,
when I'm hiding under the bed with a cable and a USB charger.
So I could hear like these weird noises that sounded a bit like someone was struggling with something, or I don't know, like just you're lying in the dark thinking, what is that noise? What is that? And then the next minute I realized that there's a silhouette of a man in my window.
Oh.
And so my reaction was I jumped out of bed, I shouted, get the fuck out of my house. And my plan was to push him, but he jumped.
Damn.
And then apologized and reckoned he had the wrong house.
Wow.
His friend lived next door and had fallen asleep, and he thought it would get him into his mate's bedroom or something. Obviously the police were involved with that one.
Did you corroborate this with the guy next door?
I can't remember, to be honest. It was quite a long time ago.
Yeah.
I forget the later detail. I think something was mentioned because I'm pretty certain that someone got evicted by their landlord, fairly certain, like shortly after that, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
Damn.
So yeah, when you say what would you do in that situation, I would run stark bollock naked at a man.
Yeah, I mean,
that just reminded me of there was that old story of people breaking into Ozzy Osbourne's house.
Oh yeah.
And he was naked and he was like had them in a headlock.
Yeah.
That just come back to me as a little mental image of a naked Ozzy Osbourne.
Get this guy in a headlock.
Oh man.
Damn.
It's all connected, see?
It is. It is. On that note. Yeah, I think that's about it for us.
Yeah, I think we should let these lovely people get on with their lives.
Thank you for tuning in, as always. Until next time, don't blame the owls.